Elderly Safeguarding, Maxine Houston, Psych 635, Research Design and Methods, Instructor Lisa Cree, November 29, 2019. When it comes to safeguarding aged adults, self-neglect is considered as both a human right and a public health concern. Published reports indicate that among the major elder abuses, self-neglect prevails at 41.9% of the cases reported. The question that would be asked for this study would be, do the elderly clients that have a supportive family have fewer negative encounters that have to do with safeguarding than those who do not have family support? Past studies have focused on the risk factors of the self-neglect. However, few studies have examined the effectiveness of the interventions of self-neglect. For effective interventions, the key players should cooperate under the harmonized plan. Therefore, the research questions examine whether there are significant impacts when social workers integrate with nurses and relevant agencies to deliver self-neglect care. The past studies on this research question have focused on cross-sectional study. The study offers a broader approach to conduct a longitudinal study to assess the effectiveness of the integration of social workers and nurses to safeguard adult care. Lee and Kim have examined whether examined social support was significant to address self-neglect. They found that the approach was insignificant. A study to examine the effectiveness of health nurses in self-neglect interventions found that they did not apply objective measuring tools for self-neglect. A cross-section study has demonstrated that social workers could work better with relevant authorities to deliver self-neglect interventions. Day et al. Conducted a study in Ireland to assess the effectiveness of nurses in self-neglect interventions. This study did not apply objective measuring tools for self-neglect. Anka et al. Performed a cross-sectional study for the integration of nurses with relevant agencies, but did not attain significant validity and sufficient statistical data to support arguments. Qualitative methods will be used to assess the nurse's experiences and for elaborating on the risk factors of the self-neglect to enhance the development of research questions. Quantitative methods will be applied to evaluate the changes due to interventions. Archival methods will be used to obtain information on the risk factors from the past studies that will be addressed in the intervention approaches. Interview methods will be used to assess the experiences of the nurses and social workers during the time they work together in the intervention. Pre-test and post-test will be performed to assess the changes in self-neglect for participants due to intervention. The results will then be quantified for validation of the qualitative findings. Moral principles require the participants to be notified and have the consent of any of their information that is being examined and recorded. Secondly, it is ethical to protect the privacy of the participants. The study will have the consent of the participants before recording their interviews. Participants will be informed that their interviews will be audio taped. Secondly, participants will be guaranteed that the information collected will be kept for the current study and will not be shared with the third party thereafter. In conclusion, the research will maintain ethics to examine the effectiveness of self-neglect in a longitudinal study. Mixed methods will be used to assess the effectiveness of the interventions. Interaction of social workers with nurses could deliver effective interventions. Assessment of social workers' experience helps in understanding the challenges of intervention. This study offers an extensive approach that has research validity to develop effective intervention. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and you have a very good day.